everybody. My name is Leanne. Hi. So when I walked into the wonderful rooms of recovery 8 years ago, about 8 years, they told me the hardest thing you'll ever do is love an alcoholic. And I can tell you it is. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. I lost my parents in the same year. That didn't even compare to loving an alcoholic. I lost my wonderful, wonderful alcoholic 4 years ago. It was March 7th, 4 years ago. Many of you knew him. But I can tell you the recovery of Al-Anon has just been such an inspirational part of my life. So in May of 2021, there were 12 trusted servants that met at Warriors Park, and we set out to do a big goal, and that was to bring ALTN back to this area, back to this district, because at one time it was here and it was big. And so through a lot of determination by a lot of trusted servants, we were able to start our ALTN meeting again. And at Chili Cook-Off, you heard one of our ALTN trusted servants. And tonight, I'm going to introduce JP, and he's going to come up here. And guys, these, I walked into Al-Anon when, I was in my 50s. I cannot imagine walking into one of those meetings in my teens, but I can tell you the strength and the courage of each of the teens that I have met just blows me away every week. So without further ado, I'm going to let JP come up here and share part of his story. Thank you.
Hey there, y'all. There we go. How are y'all doing tonight? That's good. So I'm JP. I'm an ALTN, and I'd like to tell you my story. So I was born in. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. So I was born in Westerville, Ohio, which is a suburb of Columbus. Anyone here from Ohio? Anybody? Nope. Okay. So. I grew up in a relatively normal household, at least I thought. I was the oldest child. My parents loved me. I was really happy, really smart kid. And everything was normal until I turned 6. I remember I was in my grandparents' car. I was driving from one side of Columbus to the other. It's a big city. And I remember just this sinking feeling just coming upon me randomly. I didn't know why at the time. But I walked in the door. It was like 9:30 p.m. And I asked my mom, "Hey, is Dad home?" And my mom said, "No," and she was crying. He usually got home by about 5:30, so this was really unusual for him. The next day I woke up and I learned that my dad had gotten in a drunk driving accident. Almost killed 2 people. It was devastating to me as a kid, because I was 6 years old, and my impression of alcoholics was, they live on the street and they're mean and right? I couldn't imagine my dad being like that. And so as a kid, that really got to me. And as I started to get older, I started to see my dad's alcoholism more and more. When I was about 8 years old, all he would ever do was sit on the deck of the duplex we lived in, and he spoke with his friend who was a police officer, and they just drank and drank and drank. And my dad was just, he was I forget what you call it, but when he got drunk, he was very chilled out. And so he was just kind of there. It wasn't really around for me a whole lot. And then when I was 8 years old, my dad left. And at the time, I didn't really understand the gravity of that, but my mom broke down. I watched everything. We had to move in with our grandparents, who were really abusive. It was a really tough situation. And following that, I had to move down to Tennessee, right here. And that moment, that broke me. the one thing that I had had my whole life that was stable in my childhood was where I was from. But now I'm down here, I'm the new kid at this school, and I couldn't handle it. So the summer before my 6th grade year, I went to Woodridge, the mental hospital, because I was sitting in the kitchen, and I had an ice pick in my hand, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I broke down crying, and my mom walked in, and she was like, we're going. And thank God for her. So I got through that, went in and out of mental hospitals a couple times, and slowly things started to get better. I started to grow some confidence in myself. I got on medication that really helped me. But it was still really difficult, you know. I was, the man of the house, you know. I had to take care of my little siblings, and it weared on me. I matured way too quickly as a kid. Fast forward to about 2 years ago. It was actually about this time of year, and my mom came up to me and was like, "Hey, my Al-Anon friend is starting an ALTN meeting. You're gonna go, right? Right?" And I just looked at her and I was like, what? Like, what is that, right? Because, number one, I don't even know this woman. Who is Sally, right? Like, who's that? And on top of that, you're going to put me in a room with some random people? Like, what is that? But I was like, whatever, fine, I'll go. And so I went to the meeting, and it was as awkward as I had expected. There was like one other person there, and it was weird. But, I kept going, and, I've gone ever since. And it's such a beautiful program. I mean, all of you here have had some sort of experience in recovery. I don't know how many of you have experienced ALTN specifically, but it's beautiful. I have one friend in ALTN, and I remember he walked in the first meeting, and he was like completely silent, didn't want to talk to anyone. And then about halfway through the meeting, he was like, blah, 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 blah. He just let out everything, bit of a yapper. But the dynamics shifted. And every time someone new comes into ALTN and sticks to it, you can see the change. It's visible, Every week they come back and they're better. And I can say that for myself. I definitely have more of the addict gene. I'm more inclined to those addictive behaviors than more of the enabling codependent behaviors. But even then, I'm still able to go to these ALTN meetings and look at my past and look at the ways my family acted, the ways that I acted as a kid, and it really helps me to rationalize it and come to terms with it. And I can see that impact on my friends here. Peyton, who spoke at the chili cook-off, I've seen it in her. I wasn't even there the first time she came, but the second week, I came over there and she was like, "Oh yeah, I blah blah blah," talking about all of these super deep experiences, and it really struck me because it has that effect on people. You walk into ALTN thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna be tough," I'm not gonna tell anyone, they're not gonna understand me, right? But then you walk in and it's just like this peaceful sensation just comes over you, and it's just beautiful. And so for those of you in the audience with kids, or for those of you in the audience who are kids, who are getting to be old enough to join ALTN, I'd recommend it. We meet on Tuesdays at Covenant Presbyterian Church at 7. You should totally come. It's an amazing experience. The atmosphere is amazing. Everyone there, the least judgmental people I've ever met. Like, I could probably say, "Oh, I hid 3 bodies in the basement of the church," and they'd be like, "Okay, I love you." They're just these amazing people, and that's not a confession, by the way. FBI, I know you're watching. That's not me. But yeah, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Sally, and all of the people who are part of this program, all of the AMIAs, for this opportunity. And thank you for this opportunity to speak. And I hope you all have a great rest of your night. Thank you.
You guys give another hand for JP.